We will be performing bear sit hip internal rotation pails and rails. So to set this position up, you're just gonna get right into your bear sit base position. So I'm gonna make sure that I have about a 90-degree bend in the knees here, and then I'm gonna lean back onto my arms or on my hands, just maintaining straight arms, keeping a nice tall chest. So I'm gonna take the hip that I'm working, so in this case it'll be my left hip, I'm gonna rotate into my active internal rotation, right? So I wanna make sure that both sit bones stay on the floor and nothing else moves except this hip, right? So I wanna make sure that I don't rotate and lift this sit bone here, because that would be a compensation and not true hip internal rotation. So I'm gonna take my left hip, rotate internal rotation, and I'm gonna rotate away, I'm gonna lean away from the hip that's rotating. So if I'm working my left hip, I'm gonna lean my weight onto my right hand, I'm gonna take my left hand, and I'm just going to guide that hip into more internal rotation. I wanna make sure both sit bones stay down, make sure I'm not going so far that now this tailbone, this side of my butt is coming off the ground, right? So I'm staying down here, rotating into internal rotation, finding my passive stretch. Okay, so once I found my passive stretch, I'm just gonna hang out here for 2 minutes, focusing on belly breathing. Think about a 4 count in, just think in through the nose, out through the nose for an 8 count. Whatever your breath in, whether it's 2 count, 4 count, 5 count, we wanna go about twice as slow on the exhale. The exhale is gonna be where we're gonna be able to relax the most, and then slowly get more passive range as that body relaxes. After your 2-minute stretch, your PAILs contraction will be driving my leg out into the resistance of the hand presses into that knee. So I'm just gonna create an isometric contraction, then pressing together. So I'm not gonna be moving, but I'm gonna get that contraction as if I was driving out. So I'm gonna build that contraction up for 10 seconds, and I'm gonna hold my max effort for another 10 seconds. From there, my rails contraction would be keeping my hands still. Now I'm actively working to rotate my hip away from the resistance of the hand, trying to create more internal rotation, keeping both sit bones down, keeping the body nice and still, getting more rotation there. I'm gonna hold that max effort for 15 seconds. I will then relax, but I'm not gonna move this leg. I'm just gonna take my hand back down to the leg, relax my tension, find more passive range, hang on that passive stretch for about 30 seconds. You could even go up for another 2 minutes, and then you just repeat the same process. 10-second PAILs contraction building up to 100%, and then a 10-second PAILs contraction at 100%. Rails 15 seconds, rotating away from the hand, and then come back down as you relax. 30-second to 2-minute passive stretch. So you could do anywhere between 1 and 3 rounds before switching sides. So that is a bear sit hip internal rotation, PAILs and rails.